My father did not tell me how much money he owed. He told me he had already used my name to pay it. At 11:52 p.m., Tyler Brooks was sitting at the narrow desk in his Chicago apartment, trying to convince a client that a glass tower did not need 12 different shades of blue, when someone knocked hard enough to make him look at the clock. His parents did not visit without warning. His older sister definitely did not visit with them. Yet all three were standing in the hallway when Tyler opened the door. His father looked 10 years older than he had at Thanksgiving. His mother held her purse against her chest. His sister, Hannah, would not meet his eyes. Tyler stepped aside. This already feels like the beginning of a conversation I am going to hate. Nobody smiled. That was worse. 5 minutes later, they were sitting around his small kitchen table while his unfinished architectural rendering glowed from the desk across the room. His father placed a thick envelope between them. The business is in trouble. Tyler leaned back. How much trouble? More than we can cover. That is not a number. His mother whispered. Tyler. He looked at her. If all three of you came here before midnight, I think I have earned a number. His father finally said it. The amount was large enough to make Tyler stop joking. The family construction supply business had been losing money for months. Loans had stacked on loans. Then the debt had been purchased by a company connected to Russo Group. Tyler knew the name. Everyone in Chicago knew the name. Russo Restaurants, Russo Real Estate, Russo Logistics, Russo Buildings with tasteful plaques, and very expensive lawyers. And behind all of it was Dominic Russo, the 31-year-old heir people discussed with the strange mixture of curiosity and caution usually reserved for storms that had learned to wear tailored suits. Tyler opened the envelope. The first pages were financial statements. The next contained legal language. Then he saw his own name. Tyler Brooks. He read the paragraph beneath it twice. Why am I listed in your settlement agreement? Silence. Tyler looked at Hannah. She stared at the table. Dad, his father, swallowed. They said the Russo heir would take responsibility for you while the debt was settled. Tyler slowly lowered the papers. Take responsibility for me. That is how they explained it. Tyler looked around the table. I am 25, not a damaged refrigerator. We did not know what else to do, his mother said. You could have started with asking me. His father leaned forward. We thought this would protect the family. Tyler laughed once, quietly. Interesting. I thought I was part of the family. Nobody answered. The silence hurt more than the document. Tyler stood and walked toward the window. A black sedan was parked beneath the streetlight outside. Two men in dark coats waited beside it, neither moving toward the building. Is that for me? He asked. His father nodded. Tyler closed his eyes for 1 second. Of course it is. Hannah finally spoke. Tyler, you do not have to go. He turned toward her. Then why is the car already here? She had no answer. Tyler picked up the agreement and slid it back into the envelope. You did not ask me to help. You already decided I was the help. His mother stood. What are you going to do? Tyler grabbed his jacket from the chair. I am going to meet Dominic Russo. His father looked relieved. Tyler noticed, and something inside him went cold. Do not misunderstand me. I am not doing this for your deal. He slipped the envelope beneath his arm. I am going because I want to look the man who supposedly owns my future in the eye and ask him exactly what he thinks he bought. The drive took 43 minutes, which gave Tyler enough time to regret leaving his apartment, resent his family, reread the agreement, and decide that whoever had drafted it deserved to be sentenced to a lifetime of badly formatted legal documents. The sedan moved north through quieter streets until the buildings thinned and the city lights faded behind them. Nobody in the front seat spoke unless Tyler asked a question. Nobody touched his phone. Nobody asked for the envelope. That should have made him feel better. It did not. Does Mr. Russo normally receive people after midnight? Tyler asked. The man in the passenger seat glanced back. No, excellent. I am already special. A few minutes later, iron gates opened ahead of them. Beyond them stood a large stone estate surrounded by trees and low landscape lights. Tyler stared through the window. Subtle, he murmured. The sedan stopped beneath a covered entrance. Inside, the house was quieter than Tyler expected. No crowd. No dramatic security briefing. Just polished wood, warm lamps, and the faint sound of a clock somewhere deeper inside. Tyler was led to a library with tall shelves and a long desk near the windows. Dominic Russo stood behind it with two attorneys and a younger aide. He looked exactly like the kind of man people built rumors around. Short black hair, broad shoulders, charcoal shirt, dark tailored jacket, expression controlled enough to make silence feel intentional. Tyler walked straight to the desk and dropped the envelope onto it. Apparently, I belong to you now. One attorney stopped writing. Dominic looked at Tyler, then at the envelope. Your name? Tyler Brooks. Although according to that document, personal identity is apparently optional. Dominic opened the agreement. His expression barely changed as he read, but his eyes sharpened when he reached the authorization page. He turned to one attorney. Did our office prepare this? No. Was this authorization issued by me? Not that I can confirm. Dominic studied the signature. Tyler folded his arms. So this is the part where you tell me whether my family actually sold me to you. Before Dominic could answer, the aide's phone vibrated. He checked the screen and immediately stepped closer. Mr. Russo, there is a problem. Dominic looked up. What happened? Word is already circulating that Brooks is under your control. 2 people connected to the North Division have asked whether they are permitted to contact him. Tyler stared at the aide. I'm standing right here, by the way. Dominic closed the folder. Who started the rumor? We do not know. How far has it spread? Far enough that denying it immediately may draw more attention. Dominic went very still. Then he spoke with the calm precision of someone making a decision under pressure. Until we know who started this, tell them Tyler Brooks belongs to me. Nobody approaches him. Nobody contacts him directly. Tyler stopped breathing for one beat. The aide nodded and left with the attorneys. The library door closed. Tyler slowly turned toward Dominic. Would you like to repeat that while looking at the person you just claimed? Dominic met his eyes. No, good instinct. I would rather explain it. Tyler stepped closer to the desk. You have about 30 seconds before I decide your entire family communicates exclusively through red flags. Dominic placed both hands flat on the desk. The document is fraudulent. I did not authorize it. I did not ask for you. I do not own you. Tyler pointed toward the door. That speech would have been more convincing before you announced that I belong to you. What I said was meant for them, not for you. That is somehow worse. Dominic exhaled slowly. In my family's business network, saying someone is mine means they are under my protection. It tells people not to approach, pressure, or interfere with them. Tyler stared at him. And you thought using ownership language about a stranger was the best available option. For the next few hours, yes. I already hate the next few hours. Dominic nodded once. That is fair. Tyler glanced toward the closed door, then back at him. So somebody forged your authorization, used my family's debt, spread a rumor before I even arrived, and now you want everyone to believe I am yours. Dominic's expression hardened with concentration. Until I know who benefits from that rumor, yes. Tyler felt the entire night rearrange itself around one uncomfortable question. If Dominic had not created the agreement, then someone else had wanted Tyler standing in this library before midnight. Tyler stared at Dominic for a long second, then pointed toward the library door. Open it. Dominic did not argue. He crossed the room, turned the handle, and pulled the door wide. Beyond it, the hallway was empty. The front entrance is down the hall, he said. The gate is open. Tyler blinked. That easy? Yes. You just told half your business network I belong to you. I told them not to approach you. That is not the same sentence. I know. Tyler grabbed the envelope from the desk. Then I am leaving before your vocabulary gets worse. Dominic stepped aside completely. No hand on the door. No command. No attempt to block him. Tyler made it 6 steps into the hallway before Dominic spoke again. Before you go, there is something you should see. Tyler stopped without turning. You have an incredible talent for making reasonable sentences sound suspicious. I can live with that. Tyler looked back. Dominic held a tablet now. What is it? Information my security team pulled together after your name appeared in the agreement. Tyler returned just far enough to take the tablet. The first image showed the entrance to Tyler's apartment building. A man in a gray coat stood near the corner speaking to the doorman. Tyler frowned. Who is that? We do not know yet. Dominic swiped to another image. The same man was outside the co-working space Tyler used twice a week. Another image showed him near the coffee shop Tyler visited on mornings when his refrigerator was empty. The final record was not a photograph. It was a message from a vendor who had worked with Tyler's father. Someone had asked where Tyler usually worked and whether he lived alone. Tyler's sarcasm disappeared. When the earliest request was 9 days ago. Tyler looked up. 9 days ago? Yes. My family did not bring me the agreement until tonight. Exactly. Tyler handed the tablet back. Is this person connected to you? Not that we can establish. To your family? Possibly. That word is doing a lot of work. Dominic nodded. I agree. Tyler walked toward the open library doors again, then stopped. The hallway beyond them looked ordinary. Warm lights. Polished floor. No guards waiting to redirect him. Freedom was right there. The problem was that freedom had suddenly acquired unanswered questions. So what happens if I leave? Tyler asked. You leave. And the people you just told I belong to you? They will continue to believe you are under my protection unless I correct it. Tyler turned. Then corrected. Dominic's expression stayed calm. I will. But I would prefer 48 hours first. Why? Because whoever created this agreement expected you to end up connected to me. If I immediately deny any connection, they may realize the plan failed and change whatever they intended to do next. Tyler folded his arms. And your solution is to keep pretending I am yours. My solution is to keep everyone who understands that language from approaching you while I determine who started this. Tyler looked at him carefully. You cannot make me stay. No, you cannot tell me where I am allowed to go. No, you do not get my phone. I do not want it. Tyler exhaled. Dominic was making this irritatingly difficult to classify as captivity. 48 hours, Tyler said. Then you stop calling me yours. Dominic nodded. Agreed. And if I change my mind in 20 minutes? The gate stays open. Tyler glanced toward the hallway. I hate that this is sounding reasonable. You have mentioned that. Do not get comfortable. Dominic almost smiled. Tyler noticed and immediately regretted noticing. One more thing, Tyler said. If anyone asks what I am to you while I am here, find a better word. Dominic considered that. Guest. Better. Protected guest? Tyler sighed. You really are addicted to qualifiers. Occupational habit. Tyler picked up his laptop bag and walked back into the library. 48 hours, Russo. Dominic stepped away from the doorway, leaving it open behind him. 48 hours. Tyler sat at the long table, looked at the fraudulent agreement, then at the man who had just promised not to close the door. He still did not trust Dominic. But for the first time that night, Tyler was starting to wonder whether Dominic was actually the person he needed protection from. By 9 the next morning, Tyler had learned 3 things about the Russo estate. The coffee was excellent, the guest room was larger than his entire first apartment, and Dominic Russo apparently believed silence could qualify as a complete communication style. Tyler found him in the library already working, surrounded by financial reports and a presentation displayed across a large monitor. Good morning, Dominic said. Tyler stopped. You speak before 10. Interesting. Dominic glanced at the coffee Tyler was carrying. You found breakfast. Someone left it outside my room. You said last night that you take 1 sugar and too much cream. Tyler looked down at the cup. You remembered that? You complained about hotel coffee for 6 minutes in the car. That was private emotional processing. Dominic returned to the screen. Tyler opened his laptop at the opposite end of the table and tried to work. He lasted 12 minutes before looking back at Dominic's presentation. That font is terrible. Dominic did not look up. Good morning to you too. I am serious. Whoever designed slide 7 has committed a visual offense. It was prepared by our finance department. That explains everything. Dominic finally looked at him. You are an architectural illustrator, which means I have eyes. Tyler stood, walked over, and pointed at the screen. The spacing is inconsistent, the headings are too heavy, and that blue makes your company look like it sells office printers. Dominic studied the slide. What color would you use? Tyler blinked. You are actually asking? You clearly planned to tell me anyway. 20 minutes later, Tyler had reorganized 3 slides and somehow become emotionally invested in a presentation he had insulted on site. Dominic watched without hovering. That mattered more than Tyler wanted it to. Around noon, Tyler returned from a client call and found lunch beside his laptop. Turkey sandwich, chips, apple, no mustard. Did you order this? He asked. Dominic continued reading. You said you hated mustard. When? Last night. Tyler narrowed his eyes. You remember an unsettling amount. It is useful. It is creepy adjacent. I will try to remain on the acceptable side of adjacent. Tyler smiled before he could stop himself. Later that afternoon, he noticed Dominic rotating a dark signet ring around one finger while reading an email. 3 turns. Stop. 3 more. You do that when you are stressed, Tyler said. Dominic looked at his hand. Do what? The ring. Dominic stopped immediately. You are watching me. I am studying the person who apparently owns me. Dominic's expression changed. You asked me not to use that language. I know. I am using it against you now. That seems unfair. Welcome to my coping mechanisms. Dominic leaned back in his chair. For the record, you are not mine. Tyler held his gaze. Do you tell everyone under your protection that? No, Tyler paused. That answer somehow made it worse. For 1 second, neither spoke. Then Dominic laughed quietly. It was the first time Tyler had heard the sound without restraint, and something about it made the enormous library feel less formal. Tyler looked back at his laptop before his face could betray the fact that he had noticed. By evening, the 48-hour arrangement no longer felt like a countdown. That worried him. He had expected Dominic to become easier to distrust once they were forced into the same space. Instead, Dominic asked before entering rooms, never touched Tyler's phone, never questioned his client calls, and kept the library doors open even when nobody else was nearby. Still, Tyler could not forget the forged agreement or the questions surrounding it. Dominic was too calm for someone discovering a conspiracy in real time. As Tyler watched him close another financial folder, one thought settled uneasily in his mind. Dominic might not have created the trap, but Tyler was beginning to suspect he knew more about it than he was saying. The next morning, Tyler found Dominic in the library before breakfast, surrounded by enough financial records to make the long table look like it had developed paperwork as a medical condition. Tyler set down his coffee and looked at the nearest folder. Please tell me one of these contains an explanation for why my life became a corporate conspiracy overnight. Dominic slid a document toward him. Possibly. Tyler sat. The first page showed the company that had purchased his father's debt. The second showed another company above it. Then another. Tyler followed the ownership chain with one finger. This is like opening nesting dolls, except every doll has an accountant. Dominic pointed to an authorization number near the bottom. That company is controlled through Russo North Management. Tyler frowned. Your company? Part of the larger group, but not under my direct management. Then whose? Dominic did not answer immediately. Tyler looked up. There is that silence again. Dominic turned another page around. A name appeared beside the authorization record. Victor Russo. Tyler read it twice. Victor. My uncle. Of course. Tyler leaned back. Every complicated rich family apparently comes with at least one uncle who should not have access to stationery. Dominic ignored the joke. Victor authorized the purchase of your family's debt through an intermediary 6 weeks ago. Tyler's expression changed. 6 weeks. Yes. My father said the settlement was only discussed recently. That is what makes this important. Dominic opened another file. The dates formed a clean sequence. Debt purchased first. Account transferred second. Settlement drafted later. Tyler's name appeared only after Victor's company already controlled the debt. So this was not my family panicking and randomly offering me because they ran out of ideas. No, Tyler stared at the page. Someone wanted my name attached from the beginning. Dominic nodded. Tyler kept reading. The forged authorization used Dominic's corporate credentials. The agreement made it appear that Dominic had personally approved Tyler as part of a settlement involving legitimate Russo businesses. Tyler felt the pieces finally locked together. If this document became public, it would look like you used company power to pressure an ordinary person. Yes. Which would create legal problems. And reputational ones. And give somebody an excuse to challenge your control of the businesses. Dominic met his eyes. Exactly. Tyler looked again at Victor's name. The room felt colder even though sunlight covered half the table. I was never bought. No, I was planted. Dominic said nothing. Tyler stood and walked toward the windows, carrying one page with him. My family thought they were trading me to solve a debt. Victor wanted everyone else to think you accepted the trade. Either way, nobody seemed especially interested in what I thought. I am interested. Tyler turned. Dominic's voice had been quiet, but there was no hesitation in it. Tyler held his gaze for a second, then looked back at the document. That should not be as difficult to hear as it is. Dominic closed one folder. Your family was manipulated too, Tyler. They still signed. Yes. Both things can be true. Dominic nodded. They can. Tyler appreciated that he did not try to excuse them. He returned to the table, and noticed another report partly covered by Dominic's hand. The date on it was from the night Tyler arrived. Tyler pulled it closer. Victor's name appeared in a preliminary internal note. Tyler stopped. "What is this?" Dominic's expression changed almost imperceptibly. Tyler read the first line again. "Internal concern regarding Victor Russo authorization activity. Timestamp, 1:14 a.m. The first night." Tyler slowly lifted his eyes. "You suspected him before this morning." Dominic did not answer. Tyler felt the warmth disappear from the room. "How long have you known Victor might be behind this?" Dominic looked at the report, then at Tyler. "Since the first night." Tyler went completely still. "The first night. I suspected Victor when I saw which company had purchased your father's debt. And you did not think that information might be relevant to the person whose name was sitting in the middle of the entire mess?" Dominic closed the folder slowly. "I did not have proof." "You had enough to investigate him at 1:14 in the morning." "Yes." Tyler laughed once, but there was no humor in it. "That is impressive. You managed to make withholding information sound like a scheduling decision." Dominic stood. "Tyler. No. Do not Tyler me like I am overreacting." Tyler moved away from the table. "My family decided what I was allowed to know. They signed something involving me before I even knew there was a problem. Then I came here, and you told me you did not own me, which was apparently followed by you deciding which parts of the truth I was mature enough to hear." Dominic's jaw tightened. "I thought telling you before I had evidence would make the situation worse." "For who?" Silence. Tyler nodded. "Exactly." Dominic took a breath. "For you. That was not your choice to make." "No." Tyler stopped. The answer came too quickly. "What?" "You are right." Tyler stared at him. "I had at least 4 more sentences prepared. You can still say them. Do not ruin my anger by being reasonable." Dominic almost smiled, but Tyler's expression stopped him. "I should have told you what I suspected," Dominic said. "I believed keeping the information limited would protect you while I verified it. I was wrong." Tyler folded his arms. "Protection seems to be doing a lot of questionable work around here." Dominic nodded. "It has been an excuse I am too comfortable using." That honesty landed harder than an argument would have. Tyler looked toward the windows, trying to hold on to the frustration. "You know what bothers me most?" "Tell me." "You keep saying I am not yours." Dominic waited. Tyler continued. "But yesterday, I heard you on the phone in the hallway." Something changed in Dominic's expression. "What did you hear?" Tyler looked directly at him. "You said he is mine. Nobody contacts him directly." Silence filled the library. "Say it again," Tyler said. Dominic did not move. "Tyler." "No." "Say it while looking at me." Dominic's voice stayed quiet. "I will not." "Why not?" "Because you are right about that too." Tyler's anger sharpened. "Then why did you say it?" "Because in my world, that language makes people back away immediately. Then find better language." "I should have." "You tell me I am free, then use a word that only works because everyone around you understands ownership." Dominic's eyes stayed on his. "It kept people from approaching you, and erased me at the same time." Dominic looked down for a second. When he raised his eyes again, the certainty was gone. "I did not see it that way." "That is the problem." Tyler stepped closer to the table, not to Dominic. "I am not a strategy. I am not a protective label. I am not something you get to claim because the people around you respond faster to possessive language." Dominic nodded once. "You belong to yourself." Tyler felt his anger falter for half a beat. "Yes. And I should have acted like I understood that from the beginning." Tyler watched him carefully. "Words are easy. Then I will fix it with actions." "How?" Dominic picked up his phone. "Tomorrow morning, I am meeting with the attorneys and the senior staff connected to this investigation." Tyler narrowed his eyes. "And you will be there if you want to be." Dominic paused. "I will correct what I said. Publicly." Tyler looked toward the open library doors. Dominic had not moved closer, had not softened the apology into an excuse, had not asked to be forgiven. "And after that?" Tyler asked. Dominic met his eyes. "After that, nobody in this house, this business, or my family refers to you as mine again." The next morning, Tyler expected Dominic to postpone the conversation, soften the wording, or discover some conveniently urgent business crisis that required everyone to forget what had happened. Instead, at 9 sharp, Dominic walked into the estate conference room with Tyler beside him. 6 people were already seated around the long table. 2 attorneys, 3 senior Russo managers, and the aide who had carried Dominic's original message. Nobody looked comfortable. Tyler understood the feeling. Dominic remained standing. Before we discuss Victor or the fraudulent agreement, I need to correct something I said. The room went completely still. Dominic looked at the people around the table, then briefly at Tyler. Tyler Brooks is not mine. Tyler felt his shoulders loosen slightly. Dominic continued. He is not property, collateral, payment, leverage, or anything else that can be transferred between people. Any document suggesting otherwise is fraudulent. One attorney nodded and wrote something down. Dominic did not stop. If Tyler accepts assistance from us, it is because he chooses to accept it. If he refuses it, that refusal stands. Nobody contacts him, speaks for him, schedules anything for him, or makes decisions involving him without his permission. The aide shifted in his chair. Understood. Dominic's voice remained calm. Good. Then understand this part clearly. He belongs to himself. Tyler stared at Dominic. There it was. Not hidden in a private apology. Not whispered after everyone left. Said in the same room where Dominic's authority mattered. Most. Tyler hated how much that mattered to him. After the meeting, Dominic handed him a small envelope in the library. What is this? Tyler asked. Keys. That word has recently become suspicious. Apartment keys. Tyler opened the envelope. Downtown. Near the river. 8th floor. Furnished. Tyler looked up. You arranged an apartment overnight? The company already owns several units. Of course it does. Why would anyone in your family simply rent like a normal person? Dominic ignored that. The apartment is not tied publicly to my name. There is also a new phone if you want it and contact information for private security. You decide whether you use either. Tyler turned one key between his fingers. Conditions? None. Check-ins? None. You planning to appear mysteriously in the lobby every morning? No, Tyler studied him. And if I take these keys and never come back? Dominic paused only briefly. Then you never come back. That answer should have felt like victory. Instead, Tyler experienced the deeply inconvenient sensation of wishing Dominic sounded less sincere. You are making this emotionally difficult on purpose. I am fairly certain I am doing the opposite. That is what makes it worse. 40 minutes later, Tyler stood inside the downtown apartment. One bedroom, clean kitchen, tall windows overlooking the Chicago River. His laptop sat on the counter beside the bag he had packed that morning. Nobody had followed him upstairs. Nobody waited outside the door. Freedom, apparently, came with stainless steel appliances and an excellent view. Tyler dropped the keys into a ceramic bowl. The sound was small. Final. He made coffee, answered 3 client emails, adjusted a rendering, and discovered by early afternoon that silence had become surprisingly loud. No Dominic across the library table. No dry comments about typography. No lunch appearing beside his laptop because he had forgotten the time. Tyler checked his phone. Nothing. At 4:30, still nothing. Dominic had actually listened. He was giving Tyler exactly the space Tyler demanded. Rude. Tyler muttered to the empty apartment. His phone finally buzzed. Tyler grabbed it too. Quickly. The message was from Hannah. One sentence. I found something Dad never showed you. Beneath it was an attached email chain dated nearly 2 months earlier. Tyler opened the first message. Victor Russo's name appeared at the top. 3 lines down was a phrase that made Tyler sit completely still. The Brooks son. Victor had been discussing him before Dominic Russo had even known his name. Tyler read the email chain 3 times, hoping repetition might somehow make it less disturbing. It did not. Victor Russo had discussed the Brooks son nearly 2 months earlier, long before Tyler had ever heard Dominic's name spoken inside his apartment. One message referenced his father's debt. Another mentioned the possibility of attaching Tyler to a future settlement. The final email contained language about creating maximum reputational pressure against Dominic. Tyler sat at the kitchen counter, staring at the screen. Well, he muttered, nothing says healthy family dynamics like weaponized accounting. He forwarded the chain to himself, downloaded copies, then stopped with his finger hovering over Dominic's contact. Sending the files would take 15 seconds. Subject line. Attachment. Done. Efficient. Emotionally uncomplicated. Tyler hated how quickly he realized he did not want efficient. 1 week had passed since he left the estate. Dominic had not called, had not appeared downstairs, had not sent a single carefully worded message disguised as concern. Tyler had returned to client meetings, architectural renderings, grocery runs, and coffee he still somehow made worse than the coffee at the estate. Freedom was good, necessary, but silence had turned out to have a personality, and Tyler disliked it intensely. By 5:20, he had put on his jacket, grabbed his laptop bag, and printed the most important emails at the building business center. "This is about evidence," he told the elevator doors. They offered no comment. The drive north took 41 minutes. Tyler spent the first 15 reviewing the documents, the next 10 reminding himself that electronic mail existed, and the final 16 admitting that none of this required his physical presence. The gates opened when he gave his name. No one asked why he was there. The estate looked exactly the same, which felt unfair considering Tyler had spent the last week thinking about it far more than he intended. A household employee directed him toward the library. The doors were open. Dominic stood near the long table reading a report. He looked up when Tyler entered, and for the first time Tyler saw genuine surprise interrupt that carefully controlled expression. "Tyler." "Hello." Dominic set the report down. "Is something wrong with the apartment?" "No, the phone." "Also no." Dominic waited. That was all. No assumption. No claim. No decision made on Tyler's behalf. Tyler held up the folder. "Hannah found something." Dominic took the papers only after Tyler handed them over. His eyes moved quickly across the first page, then slowed. "Victor discussed you before the debt transfer was completed. Apparently, I was a project before I knew I was a problem." Dominic continued reading. "This connects the purchase, the settlement, and the attempt to damage my position. Can your attorneys use it?" "Yes. This may be the strongest evidence we have." Dominic closed the folder carefully. "Thank you for bringing it." Tyler waited. Dominic glanced toward the doorway. "I can have a car take you back whenever you are ready." Tyler stared at him. "That is it." Dominic looked confused. "What else should I say?" Tyler laughed softly. "You really learned the lesson." "I am trying. You are not even going to ask why I drove 41 minutes to deliver something I could have emailed." Dominic's gaze settled on him. "I did not want to decide what your reason was." That answer landed somewhere inconveniently deep. Tyler looked toward the open doors, then back at Dominic. "The evidence is why I came." Dominic nodded. "All right. It is not the only reason." Dominic stayed silent. Tyler had spent a week wanting that silence to break. Now that it was his turn to fill it, sarcasm suddenly felt too small. "You stopped calling," Tyler said. "You asked me to give you space." "I know. Was that wrong?" Tyler shook his head. "No. That is the annoying part." Dominic almost smiled. Tyler stepped closer. "I missed the coffee. I missed arguing about your presentations. I even missed that ridiculous library clock." "That sounds serious. Do not make this harder." Dominic's expression softened. "I will not." Tyler took a breath. "I think I came back because I wanted to see you." Dominic did not move toward him. "What do you want now?" There it was again. Not what was safest. Not what Dominic preferred. What did Tyler want? Tyler smiled slowly. "I want to keep my apartment." "Good. I want my own work, my own schedule, my own decisions." "Of course." Tyler stepped one pace closer. "And I want to see what happens if I choose to keep coming back." Dominic held his gaze. "I would like that." Tyler looked once more at the open library doors. A week ago, leaving had proven he belonged to himself. Coming back proved something else. Freedom did not only mean having somewhere else to go. Sometimes it meant knowing exactly where you wanted to return. 3 weeks later, Tyler still lived in the downtown apartment. His keys remained in the ceramic bowl by the door, his client deadlines remained entirely his problem, and his coffee continued to prove that freedom did not automatically include competence with cream. The legal situation moved more slowly than Tyler would have preferred, but it moved. Victor was removed from management of the companies connected to the debt purchase, while outside attorneys reviewed the records. The email chain Hannah found became part of the evidence, along with the forged authorization and transfer documents. No one pretended that everything would be resolved overnight. Dominic especially refused to make promises he could not keep. "Legal problems are rarely solved by one dramatic folder," he told Tyler. "That is disappointing," Tyler replied. "I thought folders were your family's preferred form of magic." Dominic gave him the familiar look that meant he was trying not to smile. Tyler's parents had also begun dealing separately with the legitimate debts from the failed business. His mother called twice. Hannah called often. His father sent one apology that Tyler read, but did not answer immediately. For once, nobody demanded a response on someone else's schedule. That mattered. Tyler kept working from his apartment, but he visited the estate several evenings each week. Sometimes they reviewed documents. Sometimes Dominic worked while Tyler complained about terrible building designs on his laptop. Sometimes they ate dinner and argued about whether expensive restaurants were legally allowed to serve portions that small. Nothing dramatic happened, which Tyler slowly realized was exactly why he liked it. On a rainy Friday evening, he arrived at the estate without any evidence, legal papers, or practical excuse. The library doors were open. Dominic stood near the windows with 2 coffee cups on the reading table behind him. "You came prepared," Tyler said. "1 sugar. Too much cream. I am beginning to feel dangerously understood." Dominic handed him the cup. Tyler placed his phone beside his apartment keys on the table. The small silver keys caught the warm light. Dominic glanced at them once, then looked back at Tyler. "Do you want the car brought around later?" Tyler took a sip. "You are asking that before dinner?" "I am trying not to assume." Still annoyingly responsible. Rain moved softly against the tall windows. Tyler walked toward the open doorway, looked into the hallway, then turned back. "Do you remember the first night?" Dominic's expression shifted. "Unfortunately, very clearly. You told everyone I belonged to you. I was wrong." Tyler raised an eyebrow. "No argument. None. You are taking all the fun out of this." Dominic waited. Tyler looked down at his keys. "For most of my life, belonging meant somebody else deciding what I owed them. My family did it. Victor tried to turn me into evidence. Even you used that word because you thought it would keep me safe." Dominic's voice was quiet. "And I should not have." "No, you should not have." Tyler stepped closer. Dominic stayed where he was, leaving the final distance for Tyler to choose. "But then you stood in front of everyone who mattered and told them I belonged to myself." Dominic held his gaze. "Because you do." Tyler smiled faintly. That was the first time anyone involved in this disaster got the sentence right. He reached out first and took Dominic's hand. Dominic's fingers closed gently around his, no tighter than Tyler allowed. "There is still something you need to understand," Tyler said. "I do not belong to you." "I know." "Good." Tyler moved 1 step closer. "But I think I belong with you." Dominic went very still. For once, the man who always seemed prepared had nothing ready. Tyler enjoyed that more than he should have. "Only if that is your choice," Dominic said. Tyler squeezed his hand once. "That is exactly why it means something." A staff member appeared briefly at the library doorway. "Mr. Brooks, should the car be ready after dinner?" Tyler looked at the open door, then at his apartment keys resting beside the phone. He could leave whenever he wanted. Nothing had changed that. Tyler smiled at Dominic. "Not tonight." Dominic did not pull him closer or ask for anything more. He simply smiled back. Tyler looked once at the open doorway and felt no need to prove his freedom by walking through it. "Tonight," he said, "I am staying because I want to."